ज्यादा सीटों से ज्यादा। दो मई को जब काउंटिंग होगी तो बंगाल के अंदर 200 से ज्यादा सीटों के साथ भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनेगी।
আপনারা আমাকে খুন করবার প্ল্যান করবেন, আমার পাটা চোট করে দিয়েছেন, এবার খুন করার প্ল্যান করবেন, আমার যায় আসে না, আমি যতদিন বাঁচবো আমি বাঘের বাচ্চার মতো লড়বো।
ये क्या कहना था? लोगों को अराजकता की ओर ले जा रही, चुनाव को शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से समाप्त नहीं होने देना उनका उद्देश्य है, या फिर हर बार की तरह रेगिंग से चुनाव जीतने का उद्देश्य है?
আমি তো সেন্ট্রাল পুলিশ, স্টেট পুলিশ সবাইকেই রেসপেক্ট করি, আমার কোনো ডিফারেন্স নেই, কিন্তু অমিত শাহকে আমি সাপোর্ট করি না। অমিত শাহ পুলিশদের বাজে কাজ করতে শেখায়। এটা ইলেকশন কমিশন নয়, অমিত শাহ করছে।
Hello everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Marya Shakil. 3 phases down and 5 to go in battleground Bengal, and the poll temperature is only rising. It's an all-out war ahead of the phase 4 of the polls, where 44 seats are up for grabs in South 24 Parganas, Hooghly, Howrah, Cooch Behar and Alipurdwar districts. We are in the middle of the fight, and the violence and vitriol is only rising. On a daily basis, reports are coming in from both sides of injured cadre and vandalism on the campaign trail. TMC ministers have been bombed, while top BJP leaders from JP Nadda, Dilip Ghosh and Gajendra Shekhawat have been attacked during the campaign. Confident of victory, the BJP continues its saffron onslaught, with Home Minister Amit Shah kicking off a day today with a press conference in Kolkata, and then he headed to Mamata Banerjee's turf of Bhawanipur. While campaigning in the Purb Bardhaman district, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee accused the Home Minister of pumping in money in the campaign in order to kill her, saying, "They injured my leg, but I'm ready to fight back like a lion." The Election Commission also sent a second notice to the Chief Minister over her remark that TMC cadre should ghirao CRPF personnel who she claims are intimidating TMC voters. Election Commission said that her attempts to berate and vilify central paramilitary forces during the electoral process are causing extreme demoralization amongst the rank and file of the forces that have made immense contribution to conduct a free, fair and peaceful polls. It also said her comments had the potential to drive a wedge of distrust among the state police and the central forces. Mamata Banerjee has time and again accused the Election Commission of being an extension of the BJP and hit back at the poll watchdog, saying she respects the CRPF but will not bow to Amit Shah. Phase 4 will kick off on Saturday. The violence and vitriol is only getting worse as every institution is fair game in this bitter fight to claim the coveted state. Joining me on the show, Shikha Mukherjee, senior journalist, Sanjay Kumar, professor, CSDS, Dr. Nikhil Prasun, West Bengal BJP spokesperson, OP Rawat, former CEC, Manojit Mandal, member of the Trinamool Congress. Sanjay Kumar, 44 seats going to polls tomorrow. There are claims and counterclaims on which way the first 3 phases have gone. What will be your calculation?
Marya, very difficult to say which way the wind is blowing has blown in the first 3 phases. Also remember, there is a restriction that as a pollster I should not be saying or no one should be divulging any data of the polls which are being conducted, either whether it is an exit poll or a post poll. But I have been maintaining my stand right from the beginning, Marya, that I see this election as a very tight election. The first 3 rounds were also tight election, but in this tight election, right from the beginning, and I still maintain my stand that Trinamool Congress has an edge. I think the first 2 phases were slightly tilted in favor of BJP. The third phase was tilted in favor of TMC, and when I say that, it is based on the past data. Third phase, 31 constituencies went to poll, out of which 29 was won by Trinamool Congress in 2016, and even in 2019 election, which was won by BJP in a very big way in West Bengal, but even in 2019 election, out of the 31 assembly segments, 21 segments were led by Trinamool Congress. That is why I think even if Trinamool Congress seats go down by few, but third phase was the Trinamool phase and the first two phases were of the BJP's phase.
Okay. OP Rawat, the Election Commission faces this question in all election, but this time the nature of charge is far more grave. Has the credibility of the institution taken a hit? And particularly because of, look at what all has happened. EVM machines being found at home of a Trinamool Congress leader in Bengal, EVM machines being found in a car of a BJP leader in Assam. There are questions of intimidation, that you are not able to control forces who are in turn, as Mamata Banerjee says, acting at the behest of the BJP.
Actually, such a gigantic exercise which Election Commission has to undertake, even in state elections, it requires mobilization of lot of workers, you know, millions of them, as security personnel, as polling personnel, and all these personnel, all these workers are not having capability of desired level at times, and therefore, what happens that under a stress, when such a contentious election is there, under a stress, one or two such people might be committing things which you are telling, and therefore, these are stray incidents and should be inquired into, should be acted upon quickly and sternly, but all such small aberrations should not lead to a conclusion that Election Commission's reputation has got a hit and Election Commission is not able to control and deliver a free and fair election.
Okay, Mr. Rawat, you know, every institution in a democracy should be open to scrutiny. Shouldn't efforts be made to appear to be fair? You know why I am saying so? Because look at when a violation of MCC notices are given a day after the process is over, for example, in the case of Udaynidhi Stalin, when questions were raised on, and then questions will be raised after that.
Yes, sure, I agree with you that it should not be doing fair, but it should also be visibly fair, so that
Absolutely.
people appreciate that Election Commission has been fair and delivering free and fair election.
Manojit Mandal, how does this constant berating and demoralizing of central paramilitary forces help the Trinamool Congress?
No, certainly we are certainly not targeting the CRPF per se, but we have certain incidents to narrate. I mean, what happened on 1st April, one of our workers were brutally, injured. The person died this morning in front of the CRPF. That happened during the time of the Nandigram election. On 6th of April, one of our candidates, Sujata Mandal Khan, was brutally beaten up in front of the CRPF. In Falta, 20 South Parganas, CRPF were intimidating some of our voters not to cast their vote. On the basis of that, if Mamta said that, yeah, you have every right to exercise your democratic right.
So there will be a call to Ghiraos forces be given by the Chief Minister.
That's what she has said. And on the basis of that, on the basis of, what might happen, on the basis of that, the Election Commission of India is issuing notices. And when, on the other side, the BJP, Mr. Prime Minister is saying that, "Hum to nahi bolenge, Hindu sab ek ho jao," that means he's actually saying this. He's actually appealing the Hindu voter on the basis of religion, and yet the Election Commission of India is totally silent. We have produced coupons with the with Prime Minister's photograph on that. The coupons are being sort of distributed in thousands to the people in South 20 Parganas, and we have made a complaint to the EC, and the EC is completely silent. Mr. Prime Minister is coming and making all kinds of promises that 10,000 rupees will be given immediately after the elections and so on and so forth.
Mr.
And
Rawat,
still the Election Commission of India is remaining completely silent. What does it suggest? We want to know, what does it suggest?
The silence of the Election Commission being questioned here, Mr. Rawat.
Yeah, actually Election Commission always acts on complaints. whenever a complaint is received, Election Commission asks for the facts from the field
2,000
formation,
complaints have been made by
field
us,
election
2,000.
functionaries, and then acts upon it.
They are saying 2,000
2,000.
complaints have been made.
On all those complaints, Election Commission would act and would act very fast. I am sure they must have got to know what action has been taken.
Okay.
Not a single one was heeded to by the Election Commission
Okay,
of India. Not a single one.
Dr.
I'm
Prasoon.
placing it on record.
Dr. Prasoon, it's vitriol, violence, everything has been seen in this election, and there are 5 more phases to go. Dr. Prasoon, if you can hear me. Nikhil.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Actually, right from the beginning, the TMC is in a alibi finding spree. The recent vitriolic utterances by the Honorable Chief Minister is something which is not only distasteful and disgraceful, but it is ignominious to the forces as well as to the whole country. Within days of our brave hearts sacrificing their precious lives in the line of duty, such kind of utterances in which you are instigating violence against them, you are asking the people around them just by the side of the polling booth is something which is unimaginable. I where have you taken the whole narrative to? I think initially you are asking a minority community vote en bloc. Later on, you are finding an alibi in the form of asking instigating the people that they should be, gheraiing the CRPF people. I think this is something which is extremely deplorable. I think the whole TMC should apologize for that. You are a constitution. You have been appointed a chief minister. You have taken the oath of the constitution, and your statement is something which is contradistinction to the basic tenets of constitution. I think there should be a discussion on this as well separately, and it has been going
Can I
on for
respond?
quite too long.
Yes. Manoj,
No.
the quick response from you.
Have been attacked.
Maria, I mean,
left,
look at the description. I mean, vitriolic. What are you saying? Mamta, you are just saying that if CRPF is coming to sort of torture you, intimidate you, you just protest with your all the cooking utensils. I mean, when Mamta, in fact, and to be quite fair, when she was saying, I was reminded of a very classic movie by Aziz Mirza and Syed Mirza, Mirz Masala, how they were defending, the women were defending themselves against this kind of brutality. I mean, she was not
No,
saying
how
that
is
you
this
attack the
defense?
CRPF. She was just
How is
saying
this defense?
that
If
you have got
anything,
every right
it's
to
provocative.
self-defense. If they come to intimidate you, if they come to deceive you from voting, you have got every right to protest. That's
it's
what she was saying.
provocation
And on
rather
the
than
basis of this
defense.
assumption, the Election Commission of India, look how they're desperate. Even the Election Commission of India, they should have waited whether at all these kind of things were happening on the ground. And on the other hand, we are making it amply clear.
Okay, let
things
me
are
tell you,
happening on
Manojit,
on
what the
ground.
Election
And
Commission
yet,
has said.
They are remaining
The
silent.
Election Commission says that prima facie, based on the nature of allegation that was leveled by Mamta Banerjee, it's completely false, provocative and intemperate statements. That's what it had said in the statement that it was issued. Shikha
Maria,
Mukherjee, come in on this. One moment, there is a woman on the panel and she hasn't spoken. Let me go to her. Shikha Mukherjee, every institution has been questioned. I would say every institution is open for scrutiny, and more than that, it's been drawn in this crossfire of sorts that's happening between the two political parties. Is worse still to come? Shikha. I will try and connect that line with Shikha. Shikha, if you can hear me. Okay, I'll try and fix that line with Shikha in the meanwhile. But before that, yes, Dr. Prasoon, you wanted to make a point. Go ahead.
In 2011, when they were at the receiving end of the violence perpetrated by the CPM people, why was she asking for the CRPF? CRPF was deployed, and after she became chief minister, she lobbied with the center at that point of time in 2011 to continue on with the railway protection force, as she did not have any faith in the local police. Now again in 2016, she asked for the same. And when there was an army drill by the side of Navanna, she started making so much hue and cry that, well, probably army is, on the way to unleash a military coup. So this kind of a statements that she has become habitual of, now this is something which is utterly sinister. This has got a demoralizing effect on the forces. You don't believe in EC, you don't believe in Supreme Court, you don't believe in Army, you don't believe in CAPF, you don't believe in CAG, you don't believe in CBI, you don't believe in IB.
Yes,
All the
fine. And
institutions.
Manojit, respond to that. The Chief Minister and the
No,
Trinamool
let me-
Congress doesn't have faith in any institution today.
No, let me respond to the CRPF.
At least
chat.
that's
Why
what
do we
you
ask
are
for
certainly
CRPF in 2011?
questioning and
My dear
criticizing
friend,
and
in 2011,
indicating.
CRPF was not being remote controlled by someone like Amit Shah. They were still neutral institution in the country. And for the last 7 years, I don't have to say all these things. For the last 7 years, we have been debating on this issue, how the constitutional authorities, the bodies that he was referring to, how they have come under severe attack. Not just by the people, the political class, but even by the common people. I don't know how the CBI was functioning. Two of the CBI bosses, they were having ugly battle in the Supreme Court. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, all the institutions in the book. In fact, I keep repeating, this fight in Bengal is not just fight to win an election.
Fine.
This is a fight to save democracy and the constitutional authorities in the country.
Respond to my question. Why wasn't Mamata Banerjee so scathing in her criticism against the central forces in 2016 polls or in 2019 Lok Sabha elections?
In 2019 election, we did not see CRPF acting the way they are now.
What about
I
2016?
have narrated you the fact, Marya. You can see what is happening in cameras. The people are complaining in Nandigram, 1st April. People are complaining in front of the media that we are not allowed to vote, and CRPF was remaining completely silent. It's only after Mamtadi went to that particular booth, the election process was completely smoothened,
Okay, Shikha,
and all of them
if
could
you can
vote.
hear me now,
I mean, what this
is
is
worse
happening
still to
in
come now
public
that
glare.
every institution.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I couldn't get the first part
Yes.
of your question. What was
Now
that?
that every institution has been questioned, the Election Commission to CBI to Enforcement Directorate, just about every institution is now a fair game. Is worse still to come, because from now onwards, there are many more seats that are left. It's only 90 seats that are over. From tomorrow, it will be the thick of the campaign.
Marya, I am not innocent. I've heard this kind of attack against the CRPF. I've heard attacks against the Election Commission. I've heard questions being raised about the CBI being used by the parties in power for their own political purposes. I've heard the same about the ED, and I've heard it for decades. So I don't think that there is anything that is startlingly new about the allegations. What is perhaps new is the intensity of the attack and the kind of criticism that is being made, and the fact that some of this mud definitely sticks, because CBI has gone through a series of upheavals which have questioned, which have put its credibility on the line. And the Election Commission, well, you know, we are talking about the Election Commission. Well, you know, the Election Commission takes one kind of, you know, they're raising questions about Mamata Banerjee and what she's been saying. But it took 10 days to react to a complaint about Shubhendu Adhikari calling her Begum and saying that Nandigram will be turned into a mini Pakistan. It takes 10 days, and I think this is a point that that was made a little earlier, when I was connected to your show. Similar is there have been innumerable occasions when the credibility of the Election Commission, in terms of violations of Model Code of Conduct, have been questioned by a very large cross-section.
Shikha, I have just few minutes now, and I want your reaction on what to watch out for in the next 5 phases.
Well, what to watch out for is that the intensity is going to get worse, the violence is probably going to get worse, and the Election Commission is going to look, unless it can get its act together, the Election Commission is going to look as though it has lost control of the process.
So it will be a punching bag.
Yes, absolutely. And it will be a punching bag from both sides, because the BJP is also complaining that that the CRPF's actions are much to be desired. The Election Commission, we are lodging our complaints, and therefore, you know, these institutions are not being challenged by one side. They are being challenged on all sides.
Mr.
And they
Rawat,
need to get their act together fast.
I can see you smiling on the fact that it will become a punching bag if it has not already, and this happens before every election. It happens during the course of an election, and after the election all the questions are put to rest depending on who really wins. Now help me understand, given the nature of election and particularly in Bengal, what are the challenges before the Election Commission in the next few weeks? How should it appear to be fair? Mr. Rawat.
Yeah, actually Election Commission is taking all the steps, but if they can sort of perk up their inquiry investigation mechanism so that action is taken fast and most appropriate, most befitting to instill a faith and confidence of all stakeholders in their actions. That will really stand them in good stead.
So, how do you instill that faith? And how
by
do you appear
acting
to be
fast,
fair?
getting the facts fast, by acting fast, like taking the inquiry, investigation details very fast, and then taking action, stern action against all the defaulting stakeholders.
Okay. Let me start wrapping the debate. Dr. Prasoon, 30 seconds to you.
Well, actually, how can they sympathize with the central forces and army when one of the perpetrators of Lalgarh movement and the person who was responsible for abduction of Rajdhani Express, he was after having released from the jail, he was made a senior office bearer of the Trinamool Congress, who has recently been apprehended. This Chhatradhar Mahato, these people, when they are against our central forces, within days of our central forces sacrificing their life, they have started acting. But the basic thing is, you are asking the Muslims to vote en bloc for you. Now, again, you are in an alibi finding spree. You are branding an accident to be a conspiracy. Now, you are saying that central forces are preventing your voters from casting their votes. Now, rest of all, later on, you have kept the EVM for the final alibi. So these kind of things, the narrative that is being built there in West Bengal is that you are in the process of being defeated simply because of some other factors, not that you have become unpopular. But the people of West Bengal, they are clever enough to understand your game, and they are in the process of.
So the charge is, Manojit Mandal, that these allegations are coming because you are sounding fatalist. You are staring at
Marya,
defeat.
people have seen how Mamta has been systematically targeted by the Home Ministry for the last 1 year, even on the counts of COVID. We have seen how teams were sent without any notice, completely marauding the constitutional democracy. Then while health was certainly in the state list, we were not even consulted. So the same thing is happening now. We have got singularly, we have a complaint against the Home Ministry, not against the CRP person. For God's sake, my dear friend, don't bring in the army here. Army is not your property. It is the property of the country.
Let me give the final words to
army,
Sanjay Kumar.
not a
Sanjay Kumar
political
now on the
party,
screen, please.
not even a government.
Yes.
People of India own the army. That is your nasty politics, and we
Okay,
must
fine
resist
enough.
that kind of politics.
Sanjay Kumar.
No, Marya, I think Election Commission should not only look neutral, they should act in a neutral manner. If Election Commission takes 10 days to serve a notice on a leader of one political party and serves two notices quickly to the leader of another political party, how people are going to see that Election Commission is behaving in a neutral manner? So I think they should try and be neutral, act neutral.
But Mr. Kumar, the charge often is that these allegations do not come up when the EVM machines ensure victory of opposition leaders. It did not come, say, in
No, but these are the
Rajasthan
charges
or in
of
Madhya
violation
Pradesh.
of model code of conduct. These are the charges which are violation of model code of conduct, and this will come up only when the campaign processes are on. You are mentioning that these charges do not come up when the opposition or non-BJP parties win election in other state. I think little bit of charges are leveled even in those states. I don't have the data at the moment, but I am not a supporter of that EVMs are being rigged and EVMs elections are being rigged only through EVM. So because I don't have any evidence of that, and since I work in a research institute, if I don't have any evidence, I don't buy this argument. But yes, These kinds of things are going on, which we can see from our naked eyes, which is visible in front of everyone, that the Election Commission is not acting in a similar manner with regard to various kinds of complaint which they are receiving.
All right. Sanjay Kumar, always a pleasure to have you on my shows. Thank you so much for your time. Shikha Mukherjee, O.P. Rawat, Dr. Prasoon and Manojit Mandal. The fourth phase will be happening tomorrow. 44 seats go to polls tomorrow. And after that, 4 phases will be left. That's all from me. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Thanks so much.